Welcome to Granny's Handmade Shop. Today I'm going to show you how I used my paper part from the hammered flowers video that I did last week. So what you're going to need today is your paper print from that previous video. If you haven't hammered your flowers yet, please go back and look at that video called Hammered Flowers on Granny's Handmade Shop here on YouTube, and then you'll have your paper one to make these cards. So you're going to want that, the paper one. I have a paper one that I did a long time ago. I have several. This is one that is on paper. I prefer the paper. I also did one on cardstock, which is what I'll be showing you today, but I prefer the paper. You're going to need some colored pencils, a graphite pencil, some eyeshadow, which I have quite an array of eyeshadow, which I suppose you could use some pastels or chalk, which I don't happen to have because I am not an artist, as I've mentioned many times, a glue stick, and I have a variety of brushes. These four are actually makeup brushes, which I find work out quite well with the eyeshadow for obvious reasons. And these are just some old paint brushes that I had. So let's jump right in and get started here. This is the print that I had from the linen and the paper, or in this case, cardstock, that I hammered out on my patio. I'm going to do the same thing I did with that one. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit with this brush that I used for glue and never cleaned it, and it got stiff. But I use it still for glue and other things like this. So it comes in kind of handy. Glad I made that mistake. So I'm just cleaning that up a bit like I did with the one on the cloth. There is not near as much residue on here as was with the cloth part, probably because it's not as absorbent. But I'm just going to go ahead and tap that off. Okay, so this is what we're left with. It doesn't look too bad. You can see definition in this flower here, in these leaves. On the one I did with linen, I actually took some embroidery to try to define this, but we're going to do it because this is on paper, which you could embroider on paper, which I have done. Maybe that's another tutorial. Going to want to maybe define this just a little bit with our pencil, and then I'll show you what I did going back with the eyeshadow. Now, again, I am not an artist. I'm not, oh, terrible artist. But just trying to outline maybe the flowers just a little bit. And then with the green, I'll go back and maybe just ever so lightly define that leaf a little bit. And I don't know that I really need to do too much more, because this is going to get kind of filled in. It's going to make a little, because flowers oftentimes have little centers, so I'm just going to make that a little bit darker. Okay, I think I'm done with the pencils. Then I'm going to go back with, I think the brush that I discovered worked the best for me, if you can see these, is this one right here. So you want your brushes kind of, or maybe this one, kind of firm, not too soft like this one, because you'll see, because I'm going to kind of grind the eyeshadow into the paper. So I hope this works like it did for me before when I wasn't recording. And wish me all the luck. So I'm taking my eyeshadow here. I'm going to start with this purple one. And then I'm just going to kind of rub it around like that. And I came up with this idea in the night. And I think what made me think of it was the colors. Like I knew I had eyeshadow that was this purpley color. And I was trying to figure out what I could do to enhance these prints a little bit. And I thought, well, I know how to use makeup. I can probably figure out something there. So, I got up pretty early that morning and got to it and figured I should go with that. So you can see that really, I'm using this one to just brush that off because you will see that it does smear quite a bit. You could use a fixative on here if you have a fixative. I don't. So on my finished products, as you saw at the beginning of the video, they did get a little smeared around the edges, but that I decided I didn't mind that at all. That did not bother me. So I left it. So this one maybe will have some smudges on it. Maybe it won't, but often is the case with pastels, I think. So this is the way it goes. This is an experiment kind of for me. So now I'm just going back with the yellow. I cleaned off my brush. Not good enough. A little bit more cleaning there. And I'm just rubbing that around on some paper towel. You can see the purple coming through yet a little bit. But that's probably okay too. And then just going in with my yellow eyeshadow. Just enhancing this a little bit for this yellow marigold. I'm just kind of rubbing, again, just rubbing that in there. Highlighting that. I also have a little orange I could use. A little orange in there. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Let's face it, I don't know what I'm doing. This is all just kind of, I like making stuff, so I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm not sure how I'm going to like this green on here. It's a little bit more of a emerald green than I expected. But I think once you got it on there, you're kind of stuck. So just enhance this just a teeny tiny bit more. Maybe I'll go back with my pencil here and go just a little bit there. And come back, soften that up a little bit with my green eyeshadow. Okay. Then I think we'll keep maybe with, I'm not real pleased with this green, but I don't have any other shade of green, so I'm just going to have to keep going with it. Although I have to admit it's not my favorite. Maybe it's not emerald. Maybe it's too blue. It's a little bit, not quite what I was hoping for here, but again, this is where we are right now, so this will have to do. Maybe I'll mix it with a little yellow, do a little blending that way, pretending like I know about art. I don't. I do. My 3 kids are all artists, though. Very, very good, accomplished artists. You'd think I might have learned something from them. I have not. I shine in the kitchen more than probably anything else. So, okay. So that isn't looking too bad. I might go back here with this blue. Maybe enhance these flowers just a tad. Just a tiny, tiny bit with my blue eyeshadow. Give it just a little bit more color. Okay. That doesn't look too bad at all, I don't think. I would kind of like to hear what you think in the comments here. I'm going to put just a little vein through there, I think. I'm going to leave that one alone. And maybe just dab a little bit more green on there. Okay, I mean, I think I'm satisfied with that. I think that looks kind of pretty. And now I'm just going to give it a little sparkle. I've got some sparkly eyeshadow here, so I'm just going to give it just a little tad of a little sparkle there. Make this stand out maybe a little bit more. And I don't know how much this will stick to the paper, but I thought I'd give it a shot. And then I also have some kind of gold sparkly, which I'll put in here. Oh, that's kind of changing the color a little bit, which is fine, perfectly fine. So one thing I like about the art that I make, this sounds kind of braggy. I don't mean it to be braggadocious, but it's just my personality because I am a very imperfect person and I make a lot of mistakes. That's why I have an eraser taped to my pencil because I use a lot of erasers. Okay, I think I'm good with the way this turned out today. And I'd love to see yours. I'd love to see what you have done if you have chosen to do this. I hope maybe there's a way you can upload that or send me to or email me or something how yours turned out. So that being said, then I have this card that I made, which will accommodate this. I've already trimmed my print out. I've trimmed the card out. You can see that I put, where do I go with this? Little marks on each corner so that once I get this glued on the back side, I can line that up without, messing around and you're moving it. And I think that's where I didn't have the wherewithal to do it prior. I ended up getting glue on my card a little bit and ended up with some smudges here. But again, I just added some purposeful smudges and kind of made it look like it was part of the, I meant to do that. So I think I'm going to try to be a little bit neater this go round. Let me get my glue stick. You're going to want to protect your surface when you do this because it gets, all over. It's all over the place. So I've got let's clean my space up a little bit here. So I've got just a piece of paper and I'm just going to go with my glue stick around the edges and with the paper as opposed to the cardstock or the thicker paper. It's a little more forgiving when you put it down. It's a little more pliable. This will not be, but we're gonna find out. Again, we're doing this together, so we shall see ultimately how it turns out. Okay, I got that pretty well glued there. And there's my card. And I'm just gonna follow my little marks that I made, which I'm going to go back and erase that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, my hands are a little bit gluey, but I also just take like a little piece of cardboard and can kind of smooth that out rather than my finger, because my finger has glue on it. And again, I think that's where I kind of went wrong maybe with my first one there. Well, this is actually quite smooth. This is working out pretty nice. I'm getting a little smudging, but again, I don't mind that. I really don't. I think it makes it look kind of sweet, kind of nice. And I've been making homemade gifts for many, many years. I've came from a big family, so we didn't have a lot of money. And when I was a young wife and mother, I also did not have very much money and had to make do with stuff I already had. So I'm very accustomed to things not being totally pristine. So there's the card. I'm happy with this. I think I'm going to give this maybe to my granddaughter for her birthday coming up in a week or so. So there it is. If you're not using an envelope, then what I like to do presenting a card is tie some ribbon around it. I think this is very, very charming to do this as opposed to an envelope. Oh, I did that the wrong way. I'm gonna go this way with it, like you would like on a present, on a package, and then turn it that way, and then come around the front. Just make a nice bow if I can. And I'll probably put a little money in there for my granddaughter. What the heck? She's just finished college and starting out, so I think that would be a nice thing for me to do. And then trim off your ends if you like them long and leave them on. And there's the card. So please keep in mind, I am forever grateful for you and so happy to share this. So please come back again to Granny's Handmade Shop and know that without you, there is no me. So thank you, and until next time, bye.